Right now, when energy ministers met this week in Kananaskis, the Enbridge pipeline and Keystone pipeline, those were the main talking points as they agreed that they wanted to expand the markets for oil and gas and that this was the way to do it. Well, one of the people who was on board with it was Federal Natural Resources Minister Joe Oliver. But some aren't so happy that he's already said where he stands when there is a tribunal coming up on the Enbridge pipeline. Terry Teegee is the vice chief of the Yinka Dene Tribal Alliance, and he's one of the ones upset about it. Good evening, Terry.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
So what is the problem that you have with the minister stating what side he's on when it comes to the Enbridge pipeline?
Well, I just want to make things clear. I'm the vice chief of the Carrier-Sakani Tribal Council.
Mm-hmm.
And some of our members is a part of the Yinka Dene Alliance. But either way, I think the disappointing comments by Mr. Oliver is the fact that he's already has a bias towards this development and the development of the tar sands and the pipeline, the Enbridge pipeline, which clearly we don't approve of. And also the fact that I think we'd rather hear him say nothing and not be biased while this is going through a joint review panel.
What were you expecting from this joint review panel that's coming up? I understand there's something coming up in January 2012.
Well, despite the fact that we're not participating, clearly because we don't agree with the environmental assessment process that doesn't address our title and rights nor the cumulative impacts of the development of a pipeline and one-third more development of the tar sands, is the fact that those that are willing to participate, is a government official who's a part of the Conservative government already having a bias towards a potential development that clearly hasn't gone through the whole course of the joint review panel of an environmental assessment, and here he's already stating that he supports the project.
Does anyone within the Dene Tribal Alliance support this?
The project, no.
Okay, so when did you come to that decision?
We came to this decision back in 2006. We did an Aboriginal interest and use study with our membership and weighed all the pros and cons of the project about the history of pipelines, the history of Enbridge pipeline, and the cost to our environment. So we presented all that information to our membership, and there was a clear indication that we weren't in support of the Enbridge pipeline project.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, I'm looking at your press release that came out. A lot of it talks about how you're upset that there's supposed to be this review process and that it's supposed to be at arm's length, and that, there's general being upset about the fact that Oliver came out and said that he supported the pipeline. Though I just wonder, maybe he's not being objective, and yes, he was supposed to be going through this tribunal, and maybe he shouldn't have said anything before January 2012. But I do wonder, then what's the point of this whole review that's going on in January if the Conservatives have already said where they stand, the minister's already said where he stands, and then you've already made up your mind on it as well?
So clearly, I think we're at a standoff, and so where does that leave this whole process, this joint review panel? I'm not sure, because both of us are clearly at odds with each other. We are not going to give up. We don't support the project. We've spoken to our Dene brothers and sisters in northern Alberta, the Cree who are within the area of the tar sands. We've spoken to all the First Nations groups along the coast, and they don't support the project. And there's a lot of things going on in the tar sands area that we that are very concerning to us. So I think what it will come to is the fact that it'll demonstrate how this environmental assessment process is lacking, an avenue for First Nations to fully participate, and the actual fact that perhaps this environmental assessment process is too weak to address all our issues.
Mm-hmm. I do wonder, there's questions also in the press release from your group, that National Energy Board. There's concern about their independence. Now the minister is responsible for the National Energy Board and appoints people and reappoints them by cabinet. So, I don't know, to me, I would never have thought they were independent to begin with. They're probably going to be quite political. But I also wonder, it talks about how the project is supposed to be in the national interest. So what if everyone else did support it and people did vote in a conservative government? So they support it. It's in everyone else's national interest. Is the concern that it's not in just your interest?
Well, yeah, sure, it'd be in everybody's national interest. I think this whole energy problem or this energy issue is everybody's, I guess has to have input. To us, if we're going to have this whole discussion on an energy, security and sustainability, then let's address our own country before we sell off all our energy. Because clearly all these other countries that will be purchasing this resources, whether it's oil, gas, or wood products, China is the obvious, probably the biggest buyer. They really don't care about our environment. And a few weeks ago, I was in Russia on the Amur River, which borders Russia and China, and you can see a clear indication that China is obviously resource hungry. So clearly, if they have no real regulations to address their own resources in their own country, they really don't care about any other country's problems. They got the money, so they'll buy it, and really, we're selling it with the use of a conservative government that clearly supports it. Then who's left with the baggage at the end is the people who use the land. It's the indigenous people. Mm-hmm. So clearly, we have a vested interest since time immemorial. We've been here all these years, and I think we rightfully have a say, as well as the rest of Canada. So
now it does go through 25% of the pipeline would go through your area. What's the rest of the 75% going through?
There's a clear indication towards the coastal areas that they don't support the project. I'm not sure in Alberta or the other parts of east of the tribal council area. So, it only takes one First Nation to file litigation against this company, and it'll be bogged down again. We already filed litigation in 2006, and I'm sure some other First Nation or tribal council will probably file litigation. If that doesn't work, I think our membership will take it into their own hands and use direct action.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Terry. I appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Good evening.